So yeah, last week we got into steady contributions. We published our second round of bounties. We pushed a lot of new updates to the Curator app. We'll be walking through those as well. And this week we have a big week with a big new feature coming out on Geo called Community Calls. Now, there might be a bit of confusion because our curator calls sometimes have been mistakenly called community calls, but this is a completely new feature, and we'll explain to you exactly how it works and what it does. But first, wanted to have a bit of a recap, um, and then I'll walk you guys a bit through what we changed on the curator app, um, to explain a little bit what's happening with the bounties. And then Yaniv will share the big announcement around the community calls, this new feature that's coming out. And we'll also obviously do some curator spotlights. So first of all, week four, bit of a recap. We had about 120 um, bounties that went live. We have six very active mentors that a lot of you have already met with, and we received our first round of contributions. We're at about 20 bounties that are, let's say, have been submitted. And within the next 24 hour, will probably be more around 30 or 40, as we're just voting, and it takes 24 hours to vote for new reviews. We wanted to give a bit of a shout out to some of our contributors. First of all, Dini and Levan, you guys were our first two contributors on Geo, so congrats. Dini worked on the top 200 proteins bounty, and Levan worked on the top 200 exercises. We have some really exciting work coming from Thomas and from Mike. Thomas is setting up some educational content. One of the things that he'll be kind of setting up is around OpenClaw. This is a kind of a hot topic at the moment, so we'll be centralizing some resources and and creating a bit of an educational pathway there. Mike is working on AI grants, mapping out the AI grants, and that's also really exciting and useful. Um, just wanted to point those out. We also have our first, let's say, curator highlight pages in all of the fields. I've prepared these for us to kind of have a glimpse at. I think it's really cool to see what other people have worked on, and this is a great example of some of the top contributions. So this is the health highlights. So these are all already active on Geo. You can find them. Levand worked on a very interesting list of like exercises with, relating it to all sorts of different, muscles, descriptions, and exercise type. Dini, this is your list of proteins. Lots of information again here that's kind of seeding the base layer on Geo. Super interesting. And, this is just the beginning. And then we have Zan as well that started mapping out biological pathways. Again, great to see all these different contributions in health that are coming and that are going to exponentially give weight to each other. This is everything that happened more in the AI side of things. So Mike mapping out some grant programs, Sergi mapping the different, let's say, top AI projects. Um, let's see. And then we have the crypto space. Here we have great work from Dalia, who did a lot of work on validators. And this is just a small part of the data set, but yeah, very interesting. So congrats to all of you. We just wanted to give you a bit of a shout and to show people the kind of work that's been already published on Geo. As a quick note, you should have all received assignment to some of your mentors. These are the Discord handles of all the mentors. So feel free to reach out to any of us if you need help. If you have a mentor that's assigned to you, he'll be kind of guiding you through your different bounties along your Geo journey in the next couple of weeks. But you can also reach out to us. There's always somebody that's present on the Discord at any time, and we're there to help you. Briefly, we wanted to touch on what's new on the Curator app because it has some implications for all of you. We shipped four new features last week. One was around filtering maintainers. So this is what we call the official term, let's say, for mentors. Allocation, it's now going to be much smoother, and also in terms of notification. The first one is you'll see when you're browsing the different bounties, you can now filter them by those that are unallocated. The idea is that we want people to be able to quickly browse through available bounties and find one that's right for them. We'll probably be adding some new filters down the line, but at least now you can filter them by unallocated, which means bounties that you can still sign up to. Um, there's a lot more information now when it comes to allocating somebody a bounty. So you can now see how many bounties everybody has currently assigned. So for example, here you see that Rufat has two bounties assigned, Ashish has zero. You'll be able to see the number of points, which will be also helping us to understand a little bit the amount of contributions that somebody has made in the past, as well as a description and some tags. Um, you'll now receive automatic emails. We actually improved a little bit the copy of this email today, but basically you'll have a link that gives you all the information of the bounty you've been assigned, and we're also adding the information of your mentor or of the maintainer, who's the person that um, you can reach out to if you need some help. And finally, we wanted to tell you all there's a new wave of bounties that's live. You can go to the Curator app and browse all of these bounties, sign up to some bounties where we still need to allocate people. There's still a bunch of them that are available for you. And yeah, we're trying to only allocate bounties to people that have, that don't have a bounty yet. So if you already have some bounties out, that you're working on, ideally finish them. And then we'll allocate you some new bounties. And finally, just one kind of rule. For now, we really only want people to work on bounties when you've been assigned to them. There's been a few people that sent us some work in the last week or two that had worked on bounties where they hadn't been assigned yet. We understand that the situation wasn't ideal because it was still a little bit tricky for us to figure out assignments. Starting this week, we're making it a stricter rule. Please only work on bounties you've been assigned. You won't receive any points if you work on a bounty you haven't been allocated to. And yeah, that's kind of just starting this week, as now assignment is going to be much smoother and much clearer, both for you as well as for us. And yeah, handing it over to you, Yaniv.
Yeah, hey everyone. Thank you, Adam. So, yeah, yeah, we've been, working on creating tools for community formation. We've been doing this for quite a few years now, and excited to be opening things back up with a larger number of people. Uh, Man, should I share my screen
Sure.
or what's
If you want to
um
share your screen, you can do that. That might be simpler for you to walk through the presentation.
yeah. Um, um, so yeah, one of the things that we found is just really important when people are starting communities is to be able to meet regularly. We've been doing this now. We have these weekly calls, at the beginning of the week. It's really great. But, as you guys are working on your different areas, we have our three initial spaces. We're going to be adding more really soon. It's really valuable for you guys to be able to just start meeting with each other. And sometimes when we do that, we found that actually the admin around getting together is something that just adds a lot of friction. To schedule a call, to get people to join it, to post afterwards the link so that people can watch the video, like all of that stuff creates friction, which makes it harder for people to get together and meet on a regular basis. Um, and so, our hope is that, starting with these initial spaces, people can really start to form into their own communities, um, and uh, and meet regularly and make, forward progress on the spaces that they care about. And over time, we'll be able to do that for more and more spaces and more communities. And you can start to really, um, form into groups with like-minded people working on similar things. And so today we're really excited to announce community calls, which is our way of bringing this right into Geo. And so with community calls, um, you can schedule recurring calls, and we have the video conferencing built into the Curator app. Um, and you can use your spaces to actually manage these community calls. And so these are recurring topic focused live sessions are hosted within a space. And so that the editors of the space are automatically like the admins of the call, right? One of the things that happens with community calls is, you're trying to find a nice balance between having something that is open, that anybody can join, uh, but also you need to moderate that, right? Because if you have an open call, there are trolls out there. There are people that can add noise to the call, and it's important to be able to curate that. And so we think that having kind of the space membership, and essentially your DAO help to control access for who can do what in the community call, is a really great way to create something that is open access, that anybody can join, but also to moderate and manage that. And so the way it's going to work is you can create a recurring call for a space. So it looks kind of like a calendar invite. You can set that to, maybe weekly, we think is the right cadence for most calls. And then after the call, the recording um, will automatically get published to the space. Now, we give you, one little check just in case there was something, private that you didn't want to have shared. Like it's not like fully right away. You basically click one button, and what that does is it uploads the video of the recording, and then it posts the link to the recording so that anybody who wasn't on the call can see the call uh, afterwards, right? Not everybody can be online at the same time, so it's really helpful um, to make that available for people to view, either right away or for posterity, right? To really maintain kind of, the history of how did we make our past decisions. I think that's a really interesting thing for any public group to be able to go back in time and see, when the decisions were made. And so we can do that by just automating, uploading onto, decentralized storage, uh, and and linking that so that people can easily see, show me all of the past meetings for this space, and you can actually, go back and watch those calls. Um, we're going to be, improving some of the features around this over time. Um, we think it'll be nice to see, who's going. I think we've already made this. I think this works now. We made it so you can add it to your calendar. So hopefully for all of the spaces that you're a part of, we'll create those recurring community calls and you can add them to your calendar so you don't miss them. Um, and uh, and I think this is a place where we're going to be improving over time to like propose a topic and you know kind of figure out how to actually make it easier for you guys to kind of set agendas for these calls and things like that. So this will be exciting areas of future exploration, but to start out, we should be able to start hosting these calls. Um, and so, yeah, you can think of this kind of as a geo-native Zoom, but it's the fastest way to actually start creating these regular calls and then joining. And we think that for most people that get into Geo, joining those community calls are going to be one of the very first things that they do. So it's going to be very core to how Geo works. And so as you're forming your spaces, right, the spaces that you're a part of now, really starting to kind of set up kind of the culture and the cadence of these community calls is going to be a really important thing because that's going to be most people's like first introduction as they join your spaces. Okay, so that's community calls. Um, I think now we want to look a little bit out towards for this week. Um, not sure if we want to follow this exactly directly. Um, but want to just make a few kind of notes based on where we're at. Do this. Notes. Cool. So a few things just to go over. Um, if earlier in the week you might have seen a few things in the diffs where we weren't rendering all of the diffs properly. So if you've seen that, and sorry, I think I'm on slow internet, so I'm not going to be able to, I think, navigate through everything right now. Um, but if you saw some issues with the diffs before, those should be fixed now. So next time you publish a proposal, it should render a lot better. So that's exciting. One note, excuse me, I wanted to share, as you're publishing things, we've noticed that a few people um, are creating like an update to each entity one at a time, right? So we're still seeing proposals where it's, update this avatar, update this cover. And and there's no need to break it up into that small of pieces, and in fact, it makes it harder for the reviewers who now need to go through and click on, 20 different proposals and accept them all individually. So, think about what'll make it easier for the editors to review your proposals and try to batch related work together. So if you've got, 20 avatars that you're updating, try to do that in a single proposal. It'll just make it much easier for an editor to just scroll and just approve them all at once. So that's an important note. Um, I think on the ontology side, we're getting there, and it's looking quite good. But I think our approach has been to try to iterate on the ontologies, right, with a smaller number of entities, really getting kind of, the thumbs up from your mentors and then publishing larger amounts of content. So I think quite a few people have made it through to that point and are probably ready to start publishing larger quantities of content. Hopefully, people are starting to get comfortable with the system by now. And so this week, we want to, I think we're going to start seeing a lot more content getting published. Um, and I think that should really be our goal. So, what we'd love to see is, I think this week the quantity of content really increasing. we don't want to, have shortcuts there, but hopefully, people are starting to feel comfortable with the ontologies. And, let us know if you have any questions on that. And it feels like things are getting to a really good spot. So it should be a really exciting week from that perspective. Cool. And we wanted to give our tourists a little bit of time to go over some of the stuff that he's seen. As you know, Arturis has been kind of leading the Geo Explorers team, and I think he's had a chance to meet with a bunch of people, is watching the content really carefully. And yeah, let's hear from Arturis on some of the stuff that he's seeing, and maybe some guidance or hints that he might want to share with the group.
Yep. Hey, so let me do a quick screen share. I just sent out the request.
All right, Lizzie, are you seeing that on your end?
Okay, here we go.
Yep, just gave access.
Okay, so few notes based on how things were going in the last week. First of all, I sent this link to the discussion channel on Discord. That's a Geo Curator Program, and we are here organizing and consolidating some of the general helpful documents or posts that could be good for the curators to take a look at. So, for example, here we have the tips for participating in the bounty, some general recommendations of how we can do that easier and better, editor contacts. So this is a big note here, which is the best thing that you can do for yourself when publishing the content and participating in bounties is making sure that you have a mentor, right? And you know who that is. Which mentors are here organized by spaces. So use Discord, chat with them, talk with them. And the best approach right now that seems to work the best, it's publish a couple of entities per type that are perfect. And work with your editor to get there, right? They will help you to determine what's the exact type. There's a bunch of types and properties on Geo. And sometimes it can be not exactly clear right away which one of the types you want to use. The editors will walk you completely through the process, right? So that's one of the best strategies, which is make sure that you have an editor and make sure that you're working with them. And the publishes that you propose, it's best if the editor has already seen it, right? And then they will sort of walk you through. Some of you are already publishing just directly. Then the editors are deciding from their perspective, can they just accept it? And then, maybe even it's not ideal, we can fix it afterwards. If it's really far away from the structure that we need, they can reject it, but then they'll get in touch. Or if their proposal gets rejected, get in touch with your editor and they will walk through what changes need to be made. Space content policies. This is a great general document that gives a very basic sort of formatting rules, naming conventions. This is a great context document, especially for people who are working with LLMs. If you add this as a context document, your outputs are going to be immediately much better and right away closer to what we expect, right? So this is sort of a general rules. And this is applicable to all spaces. It's just how we want to name things and stuff like that. And some resources for the developers. So this is where we are at. And so quick notes on Discord. So really happy to see a huge engagement in Discord, especially the last week. I feel like there's engagement really improved. And a few notes there that we have the announcements where sort of bigger things coming up. Health, AI, crypto channels, and this is where the conversation's happening. So if you're working on a bounty and the bounty requires understanding the domain, right? If the bounty is in crypto or in AI, maybe you want to check in with other people. And there's a bunch of people here who actually care about these topics and they know a lot about them. So you can sort of sync with them on that. And the most popular channel right now is discussion. So this is where most of the things are happening. So I am encouraging everyone to really participate here. If you have any question, any concerns, drop them out there. We're all ready to hop on and immediately resolve that. Developers, this is where developers are working on mastering the SDK, API, and sort of bigger publishes. And some new things. So ontology channel, which is the most important, like one of the biggest, like, let's say, aspects to figure out for a curator to learn, which is the ontology, which just connects all of our work together, right? If we all use the types that everyone else uses for the same things, then actually this becomes a knowledge, like a shared knowledge graph. So here we invite everyone to be active, ask questions. Also, you can participate in the conversations. People who are interested in this, like, you're welcome to participate. We're building this out in the open together. So this is sort of a ways that we communicate right now. So tag any editor in any of the channels. And I would say, just to finalize, like a few notes from the past week, most common communications in Discord were mostly about the assigning of the bounties. And just like a quick note on that is we're releasing bounties carefully because every bounty actually needs to fit into a shared knowledge graph. So we are careful about assigning the right bounties at the right time. So we'll be releasing them in waves. The next wave just came out, and we're already working on the third wave. So and we'll be kept fully up to date of how that is working. And so that's on the main sort of questions that we observed. So I think this is pretty much it. Like one quick note is there's a new feature on Geo right now. We have open full screen, which is really helpful to take a look at all of the content. It shows all of the entities that are of that type and all of the properties right away, so we can check what's already filled in, what's not yet. So this might be relevant to take, you publish your own content to see how that looks at the end. So to sum up, Discord is the place where the conversation is happening, and the more active you are and the more proactive you are about asking questions and getting help, the better and the faster you'll be to get your content published. And for now, focus on publishing really small amount of entities, but just make them perfect. Perfection is the best guideline right now. Once you get a few entities that are perfect, then we'll work with you and help you to publish the whole data set that you have there. That much from our end.
Great. Thank you, Arturas. Yeah, I guess we just rolled out that feature, I think probably today. So yeah, Arturas went over it pretty quickly. It showed kind of this full screen mode. Internally, we refer to that as power tools. And there's a bunch of really cool features there and more that are going to be rolling out. So yeah, please feel free to check it out and let us know, and we'll share more about that soon. So cool. I think hopefully that is a helpful overview of where we're at in the Curator program. Just really excited by all the great contributions that we've been seeing coming in. And maybe we can take a few moments to open up the floor if there is anyone on the call who maybe wants to do a little demo or walkthrough or share anything about what we're working on. I would like to give people a chance to share a little bit. This is a segment that we want to start doing on these weekly calls. I think so far, we've been doing a lot, that's just kind of from our team. But we do want this to feel more like a collaboration, like a discussion. And so please do not feel free to, join, especially this part of the call. Even with, early in progress things, I think it will be really great for people to kind of hear from each other more. And so, yeah, if anybody has anything at all that they just want to maybe share or talk about, we'd be happy to open the floor. Are we getting any takers? Yeah. All right. Well, now that we know that this is a segment, feel free to prepare something. And for folks that want to share at the end, we'll be happy to open the floor up. Um, okay, so we've covered a lot already. Um, so I think our goal is going to be to start scheduling these community calls, potentially for as soon as tomorrow, definitely Wednesday, Thursday. We'll put some initial times for each of our initial 3 spaces. And so please keep an eye out for that. We'll share links in the Discord. You should be able to see them when you go to your home in the Curator app. You'll see the scheduled calls there. So please join the community calls for the spaces that you're a part of, and we'll be really excited to start kicking those off. Hopefully at this point, by the end of the week, you will have published something for one of your bounties. The team has done just a really great job of, allocating bounties to, I mean, hundreds of curators at this point. So hopefully everybody has something to work on and can be, publishing your content for your bounties this week. One thing to note about the bounties is we're not going to be holding these things forever. So just because you are allocated a bounty does not mean that, that thing is going to be off limits forever. Um, if progress isn't made within some reasonable amount of time, those bounties can get reassigned. So please keep that in mind and make sure that we're seeing progress from you. Otherwise, you can't assume that, especially at this stage, we have a lot of content to organize. We actually do need to move pretty quickly. So, if we don't hear from someone in a week, 2 weeks, that bounty could very likely get reassigned. So, so please let this be a week that if you have not yet published content for your bounty, let's make this the week. Um, and we'll continue to create new bounties. So keep an eye out for new bounties that are going to get created throughout the week. And our goal is to get to a really good spot with our first 3 spaces. So there's always going to be more to do. These are all complex areas, and we'll be able to go pretty far, even just organizing content for these 3 spaces. But our goal would be maybe by the end of this week, those spaces are already getting to a place where it's a good experience to browse them. There's already starting to be some real interesting information. So let's try to get there as close as we can, by the end of this week. And then next week we can start to maybe expand to our next 3 spaces that people have been patiently waiting for, the US politics, world affairs, and education. So we want to, start expanding, getting back to those other spaces as well. But we want to get these initial spaces to a good place first. So please reach out if you have any questions. Make sure that you're paired up with a mentor. They can really answer your questions, make sure you're on the right track. And we're excited to continue to see high quality contributions coming in throughout the week. So awesome. Yeah. Really great work, everybody across the board. It's been really cool to see, and I'm excited to see what everybody does this week. Anything else before we wrap up? All right. Thank you, everyone. Keep hacking, keep organizing the world's knowledge. There's a lot of knowledge out there, and it should be a fun week to get our 3 initial spaces to a good spot. So thank you, everyone. Have a really great week, and see you in the Geoverse.